Welcome to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. Chapter 11, Taking the Destiny Heroine as a Scapegoat. You are awakened from your training state. This terrifying chill is more than 10 times stronger than the first simulation. You sense that danger is approaching. You are a little bit unbelievable. At this moment, you are in the villa arranged by the Li family. There are countless guards around you, and Liu Zhang, the 7th level saint, is guarding you outside. How could anything go wrong? Unless, the threat this time is far beyond your imagination. And the next moment, your guess came true. The sound of fighting suddenly echoed in your ears. The sound of fighting was surprisingly very close to you. The 3 bursts of pressure all reached the saint level. Of these 3 saint level auras, one belongs to his protector Liu Zhang, but the other 2 are extremely unfamiliar. Liu Gan, the Zhao family's ancestor and a masked saint-level expert, are rushing in with a group of powerful men in black. Senior Liu Zhang is being entangled by them. Please open the door of the secret room quickly. I will take you away. Liu Ruyue's anxious voice suddenly appeared from outside the secret room. Your expression changed drastically. You chose not to believe it, and quickly peeked through the secret door of the secret room to see the situation outside. You saw Liu Ruyue, who looked anxious, and a group of men in black who were fighting with the guards. In the sky, the ancestor of the Zhao family and a strange black-clothed saint were fighting with Liu Zhang. However, judging from the situation, it is obviously not optimistic. What Liu Ruyue said is true. How is it possible? Where did these saint-level warriors come from in the Demon City, and why are there so many black-clad warriors? Could it be that the mastermind behind the scenes has taken action again and set up a new round of killing scheme? It really is haunting. Liu Gan's eyes were gloomy and he immediately made a judgment. It has only been a few days since a new round of killing has arrived. It seems that the mastermind behind the scenes is really obsessed with his Supreme Emperor Bone. The second time I simulated myself as a villain, I thought I had set up a trap and could get a brief period of time to develop, but I still underestimated the opponent. But here comes the problem. His residence in the Magic City would be moved every other day, and it was almost impossible to find out how the Zhao family ancestor and those men in black found him. Faced with the anxious Liu Ruyue outside, you did not choose to open the door of the secret room and go out, but opened an extremely secret passage without any reluctance. You were extremely afraid of death. You had people build this secret room and passage specifically for emergency use. You can use it to escape. At this moment, you are ready to abandon Liu Zhang and Liu Ruyue and escape. As long as you are alive, you can avenge them in the future. If you die, everything will be over. You are so selfish that you have put your own life first. You are such a mean person. But just as you were about to enter the secret room, a chill swept over you again. At the same time, the fate and luck you had taken from Liu Ruyue completely dissipated. There is someone in the secret. This is the final warning of destiny. You realize that this is a game of catching a turtle in a jar, and you are the turtle. You couldn't help but swear, and then a cruel look appeared on your face. After a quick thought, you opened the door of the secret room and let Liu Ruyue in. Liu Ruyue is in the same boat with you. If you die, the Liu family will surely perish. Unable to bear the wrath from the Liu family, Liu Ruyue will never betray you. Liu Gan, let's go. As long as we escape from here, the Liu family will take us back soon. Before Liu Ruyue could finish his words, you suddenly attacked him and slapped him on the neck, knocking him unconscious. You acted with moderation. Liu Ruyue will be unconscious for a few hours at most and then wake up. Of course, there is a possibility that he will never wake up. You activated the 1000 Shadows magic art, and used the Shadows simulation magical power for the first time, starting to change Liu Ruyue's appearance. As soon as your 1000 shadow demonic energy entered her body, it was blocked and could not be shaken, but it disappeared immediately. You thought it was an illusion and ignored it. Soon, Liu Ruyue's face began to change, and eventually became your appearance. You also used Shadow to change into the appearance of Liu Ruyue, and swapped your clothes. In order to survive, you planned to let Liu Ruyue, the destined heroine, become your stand-in, and die for you to gain a chance. You helped Liu Gan up and pretended to be in deep training. Then, Dressed as a woman, you opened the door of the secret room again and slipped out. This time, you no longer have the blessing of destiny, so you can only cover up your aura and disguise yourself as Liu Ruyue, fearing that others will find you. You walk on the edge of the chaos, ready to slip away. Fortunately, the targets of those men in black are Liu gone in the secret room, and they are not interested in you. The three powerful saints fighting above don't even look at you. In your heart, you secretly breathed a sigh of relief, but doubts soon arose in your heart. You can understand why the other families in the Magic City did not react to such a fierce battle. After all, they were afraid of getting into trouble. But why hasn't the Li family shown up to support us yet? Just when you were about to escape from the battlefield, the mysterious saint who was above you with his face covered by a black cloth suddenly looked at you in confusion, and you immediately felt a pressure as strong as a mountain. However, he obviously did not see through the disguise of the magical power of shadow, and soon shifted his gaze. You secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Boom. A violent vibration suddenly erupted from the secret room, attracting everyone's attention. The door of the secret room was suddenly smashed open from the inside, and the mysteriously missing Yi Chen appeared inside, holding a dagger in his hand and stabbing it into the chest of Liu Gan. Ha ha ha, Liu Gan, you be *********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** Today is the day you die. Lu Gan, who was pierced through the chest, suddenly came out of coma and opened her charming eyes. Her eyes were full of disbelief. She looked at Yi Chen, who was laughing wildly in front of her, and then looked at Liu Ruyue in the distance. Her lips moved slightly, and she died with her eyes open. Quote, Mr. Liu? Seeing Lu Gan die, Lu Zhang suddenly fell into madness, burning his blood and essence, which frightened the Zhao family's ancestor and another black-clothed saint-level strongman so much that they frightened themselves and avoided him. But the next moment, the face and body of the Lu Gan, who was killed, suddenly twisted and turned into Liu Ruyue's appearance, shocking the whole audience. Ruyue. No. Damn it, that person is the real Lu Gan, catch him quickly. Just as Yi Chen let out a howl of collapse, the mysterious black-clothed saint-level warrior reacted and directed the other black-clothed men to rush towards Liu Ruyue, in front of them. Seeing that you are exposed, you sighed secretly, knowing that the shadow ability still has considerable limitations. However, at this moment, you have already reached the edge of the battlefield. You fully reveal the 4th level of Thousand Shadows magic art, transforming into 8 black shadows, whose entities cannot be seen clearly, and flee into the distance. The black-clothed people who come to attack you cannot touch the corner of your clothes, and can only watch helplessly. Thousand Shadow Magic. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. Chapter 12. The second simulation ends. Seeing you burst out with supernatural power, the masked saint realm expert immediately exclaimed. However, compared to your cultivation, this person was obviously more shocked by your display of the Thousand Shadows magic art. His abnormal behavior immediately confirmed all your previous speculations. This person is indeed the mastermind behind the scenes. And at this moment, you, who used Liu Ruyue as bait, actually grabbed a glimmer of hope. With the blessing of Thousand Shadows magic, and the blue talent, grease on the feet, the speed you burst out at this moment is even more terrifying than that of the 5th level of mountains and rivers. The man in black behind you was instantly left behind. The Zhao family's ancestor and the masked warrior were also held back by Lu Zhang. They were unable to rush over and attack you. They could only watch you leave. It seems that this time, the death calamity can be avoided again. Lu Gan looked at the villain simulator and secretly breathed a sigh of relief. The longer the self in the simulator lives and the higher his cultivation level is, the greater the benefit to him will be. This time, the reason why he fell into a fatal disaster was, in the final analysis, because of the second simulation of himself. After gaining power, he became too proud, too lax, and indulged himself in the gentleness of life. Otherwise, I wouldn't have realized the danger until the last moment. The demon city is still too dangerous. It would be great if we could return to the capital of Daxia, to the base camp of the Daxia Lu family. With a celestial ancestor guarding us, we will never be easily hunted down, chased away, or hunted down. The mastermind behind this is trying to force me out of Daxia's capital. He has probably already laid a net in the Magic City, ready to launch at any time. As long as I stay in the Magic City, I'm doomed too. Damn it. Liu Gan's pupils suddenly shrank, and he stared at the next scene in the villain simulator, with an expression as if he had seen a ghost. You were like a phantom, transforming into 8 demonic shadows, fleeing in all directions. It is hard to tell the real from the fake. The corners of your mouth are raised with the joy of rebirth. You thought that this time the death calamity has been broken, but the next moment, you suddenly feel a threat of death coming. Quote. Land. Dry. Quote. You. Killed. Ruyue. Quote. I. Want. You. To. Die. Yi Chen's resentful and crazy voice came from behind, almost echoing throughout the entire battlefield. You were so horrified that you couldn't help but turn your head and take a glance, and immediately saw a horrifying scene. Yi Chen with a broken arm seemed to be crazy. He took 3 steps in a row, and the aura of the peak of the supernatural power realm on his body suddenly exploded like a balloon. 5th realm mountains and rivers. 6th level extraordinary. The 7th level of enlightenment. Yi Chen, the protagonist of Destiny, actually broke through 3 realms in a row and entered the 7th realm of sainthood, shocking the whole audience. Even the 3 powerful saints were killed, and everyone couldn't help but stop fighting. Although you have already guessed that the protagonist of Destiny is a well-known cheater, you are still completely shocked at this moment. How can you play it like this? Boom. The furious Yi Chen suddenly appears in front of you and attacks your head. Mr. Liu. At the critical moment, Liu Zhang appeared without hesitation and stood in front of you, but was instantly blown up by a punch and turned into blood mist. You watched the tragic death of Liu Zhang with your own eyes, your pupils erect, almost unable to control your excitement. It's only been a few days, how could Yi Chen have such a drastic change? If he really had such means before, why was he hunted down by Liu Zhang and had his arm broken? What on earth did Yi Chen experience these days? Or is it the remnant soul of the old man in Yi Chen's body that is causing trouble? Boom. At this moment, Yi Chen is like a mad killer god, punching you again. It is obvious that he blames you for Liu Ruyue's death. This time, no one will stand in your way. Swish. At the critical moment, a blood-colored talisman close to your body suddenly appears and transforms into a blood-colored demon bat, which devours you and blocks Yi Chen's fatal killing move. Then, it tears through the void and escapes into the distance. Before, the life-replacing blood escape talisman, sent by the Liu family played a miraculous role at the critical moment. Before escaping, you seemed to hear Yi Chen's unwilling roar. At the same time, the mysterious token that he had snatched from Yi Chen's hand trembled slightly, as if it had some kind of reaction. Swish. As you flee into the distance, you feel the space is shaking, the sky is dark, and you almost lose consciousness. You are in a daze and suddenly fall out of the blood escape, falling into the cold water, your whole body is cold. You forced yourself to open your eyes, and found yourself falling into the sea. Were you randomly transported to a sea area thousands of miles away from the Magic City? At this moment, a huge black shadow, like a giant octopus, suddenly flashes in front of you. It seems to be some powerful and strange alien race. You want to struggle, but your body is stiff. Then, there was a burst of heart-wrenching pain, and some strange chewing sounds. You are dead. The simulation ends. Start the final settlement. The host can choose 3 from the following 6 options. First item, the 4th level of the Ancient Dragon Elephant Sutra, Divine Power. Second item, 1000 Shadows Magic Skill, 4th level, Magic Power, Simulation. Third item, Mysterious Token. Fourth item, Life-Replacing Blood Escape Talisman, Heavenly Level. Item 5, part of the destiny of the female protagonist Liu Ruyue, 1 week. Item 6, a well-preserved broken arm, Yi Chen. Looking at the bloody words on the villain simulator, Liu Gan's eyes kept changing, sometimes gloomy, sometimes shocked and angry, and he was just about to curse. Is it still possible to play like this? Yi Chen's final performance was simply beyond compare. It can be called a deus ex machina, a dimensionality reduction attack. Even if you are the destined protagonist, you can't cheat like this. It's not like he hadn't thought about the possibility that he would die at the hands of the mastermind behind this. But he never expected that he would die at the hands of the destined protagonist who was almost ruined by him. Sure enough, there are only a few simple ones who can be favored by fate. I underestimated the enemy too much. This time, the villain's life simulation ended well. It can help me to be humble and not have the arrogance to look down on anyone. Although the villain simulator still failed the second time, he was killed within less than a month. But he did not feel too upset, instead he quickly adjusted his mentality. Useless emotions are bound to only affect his rationality. He, Liu Gan, can take it and let it go. Chapter 13. Red Talent, You Can't See Me. Ding, the host's current mentality has begun to conform to that of a true villain, which will have a far-reaching impact on himself and the future of the world. 500 villain points are awarded. Villain Simulator, a mechanical voice suddenly appeared, interrupting Liu Gan's thoughts. I didn't expect that this time I would unexpectedly match the mentality of the villain and get the villain point reward. It's really a blessing and a curse. Liu Gan was a little surprised. Just your own thoughts can trigger rewards from the Villain Simulator. This shows his importance in this world. However, compared to the so-called 500 villain points, his mentality and feelings at this moment are undoubtedly more precious, enough to save his life in the future. Simulator, I am now conducting a simulation alone. How many villain points do I need? Liu Ganqi has not forgotten that he only has 3 villain life simulations given to him for free at the beginning. Now, it has happened twice, and only one last time remains. Once used up, you have to use villain points to start the 4th villain life simulation. Now he has to take one step at a time and wait and see. At least some of the rules and procedures for starting the villain simulator need to be understood. Ding, the host's current realm is the 3rd level of Tongshuan. To perform a villain simulation, 1000 villain points are required. 1000 villain points. Liu Gan frowned slightly, somewhat surprised. This number seems a bit too much. He was quite happy because of the 500 villain points he got just now. Now it seems that it is impossible to even start a villain simulation independently. However, this is not the worst. His next simulator reward will allow him to break through to the 4th level of magical power. System, if my cultivation level is raised to the 4th level of magical power, how many villain points will I need? The stronger the host is, the greater the interference of the secret treasure he possesses on the simulated future will be, and the more villain points he will need. The 4th level of magical power requires 5000 villain points. The mechanical voice of Villain Simulator appears again to explain. The original number of villain points required was multiplied 5 times again. The stronger the strength, the higher the villain points required. This means that suppressing the cultivation and combat power in the early stage is actually beneficial to getting more rewards with the least villain points. But the problem is that what he lacks most now is time, and what he needs most is strength. There is a mastermind behind the scenes, watching closely. How could Liu Gan dare to stop improving his strength? In a sense, he no longer had a choice. His eyes turned to the 6 rewards given at the end of the 2nd simulation. Among these 6 rewards, he was coveting more than 3 of them. But now, you can only choose 3 from 6. Of the 6 simulated rewards, Liu Gan was undoubtedly the first to be excluded for the 5th and 6th. The 5th item is the Destiny Blessing of the destined heroine Liu Ruyue, 1 week. This is a replica and can be refreshed, so there is no rush. 6th item, Yi Chen's broken arm is of little use in his current situation, because he has not yet mastered the curse-like spells. The 1st item, the 4th level of the Ancient Dragon Elephant Sutra, is a must, which can allow him to quickly break through to the 4th level of magical powers. The 2nd Thousand Shadows Magic Art, the 4th level, comes with the Shadow Simulation ability, which is of great use to him. If any destined protagonist had cheated during the 2nd simulation, he would have used this opportunity to escape. The 3rd mysterious token was in Yi Chen's storage bag. It had some reaction when Yi Chen was cheating and exploded, and it seemed to have some use. But he is not sure yet. In comparison, the fourth item, life-replacing blood escape talisman, is a real life-saving artifact. Although the life substitute blood escape talisman has the uncertainty of random escape and teleportation, it can indeed save lives at critical moments. If I had still had the strength to resist during the second simulation of being teleported, I wouldn't have been killed by the strange alien race in the sea. Moreover, as long as I choose the life substitution blood escape talisman and then get another one from my eldest brother in the simulator world, I will have 2 life substitution blood escape talismans and get 2 chances to save my life. I think I can live longer. Liu Gan made a quick decision. Simulator, I choose the first, second, and fourth options. Boom. The next moment, a magnificent and mysterious force is coming. The river of time appeared again, crossed the dimension, and came in front of him. The remains of a eaten corpse also appeared in front of him. That was the second simulation of the villain's life, and in the end, he was, himself, who was swallowed up mysteriously. Although it was not the first time he had seen it, Liu Gan's mouth twitched when he saw his own miserable death. 3 of the 6 fruits hanging on the mutilated corpse fell off instantly, flew towards him quickly, and merged into him. Boom. In his mind, his comprehension of the ancient dragon elephant scripture instantly reached a new threshold, breaking through the 4th level of magical powers and condensing the domineering physical magical power of dragon elephant tyrant body. At the same time, there is a dark and mysterious power slowly sprouting in his body, with a strange characteristic of being ever-changing. It was none other than the Thousand Shadows magic art. Host: Liu Gan. Age: 18. Realm: Divine Power. Kung Fu: the 4th level of the Ancient Dragon Elephant Sutra, Heavenly Level, the 4th level of the Thousand Shadows Magic Skill, Heavenly Level. Divine Magic: Dragon Elephant Tyrant Body, Shadow Simulation. Constitution: Supreme Emperor Bone. Talent: Oil on the Soles of Feet Blue. Number of simulations: 1 time. Villain points: 500. In the first 2 simulations, I took the initiative. This time, I want to take full control of the initiative. The main goal of the 3rd villain simulation is to clear the entire demon city at once and know all potential safety hazards in advance. Now, my real body is in the magic city. If I don't figure out whether it is an enemy or a friend, I'm afraid I will really have trouble sleeping and eating. The second simulated siege was too bizarre. How did the Zhao family ancestors know where I live? Unless there is a traitor. Since I came to the Magic City, all my food, clothing, housing and transportation have been arranged by my in-law, the Li family of the Magic City. We also need to figure out Yi Chen's sudden abnormality, and there is something strange about Liu Ruyue. All the strange things about the second simulation emerged in Liu Gan's mind, and his eyes were full of calculation and madness. In the world of the villain simulator, he was plotted against and surrounded again and again, which made him angry. The person behind the scenes must be killed. Villain simulator, conduct second simulation. Ding, the 3rd villain life simulation begins. It is detected that the host has enough villain points. Do you want to spend 500 villain points to randomly draw a temporary talent? 500 villain points. Unexpectedly, this time it would come in handy. The previous blue talent, oil on the soles of feet, gave him a lot of convenience. If he could get more talents, it would undoubtedly be better. If the villain point is kept and not used, what's the difference between it and being useless? Do you want to keep it for having babies? Me. Soha. Liu Gan, who knew that Soha was a wise move, decisively Soha the villain in his hand. Ding, 500 villain points have been automatically deducted from the host, and random temporary talent extraction has begun. Swish. Suddenly, a dazzling red light appeared in front of Liu Gan's eyes, emitting a scorching glow. Is this the outbreak of the European Emperor? Got a golden legend. Liu Gan was overjoyed and immediately looked at the innate ability he had extracted. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the temporary red talent. You can't see me. Chapter 14. Is there something wrong with Liu Ruyue? She is in the heavenly man realm. You can't see me, red, when you silently say, you can't see me, in your heart, there is a certain probability that the people present will not be able to see your existence. The stronger the person is than you, the less effective the effect will be. Red talent. It's a conceptual talent. Liu Gan was shocked, and the surprise in his eyes was not concealed at all. In a sense, this red talent may even have an impact on the celestial ancestors and even the true immortals on land. Just a red talent, it involves the concept level. Wouldn't it be a step to the sky for the higher purple and gold talents? It seems that this time the villain life simulation will be different. Liu Gan's lips curled up, and he looked forward to the next simulation even more. Simulation starts. You looked at Liu Ruyue, who was drunken unconscious outside the car, and did not choose to get out of the car to pick him up as you did in the previous 2 simulations. Instead, you had other ideas. Since Liu Ruyue's appearance is part of the murder plan set up by the mastermind behind the scenes, why is he so foolishly getting involved? You should know that now you have awakened the Supreme Emperor Bone and have the combat power of the 4th level of magical powers. Liu Ruyue is of little use to you now. At most, he can only give you some blessing of destiny and luck. This time, you are not going to follow the routine and see what changes will happen. Quote. Drive, go home. You asked the driver Liu Zhang to drive away directly, ignoring the drunk Liu Ruyue in front of you, and acted calmly. Liu Zhang was somewhat surprised at your attitude. You know, your reputation for lust is well known in the capital of Daxia. How could you be so honest this time? However, he still drove away as you instructed. Are you starting to play the opposite game? It seems that this time, me in the simulator wants to try a new change in future destiny. Liu Gan narrowed his eyes slightly and muttered to himself. The reason why I took the initiative to join the 2 previous simulations was to force out the mastermind behind the scenes and find out his identity. But the previous 2 deaths were still just the tip of the iceberg. Even the true identity of the real mastermind behind the scenes has not been touched upon. In this case, we must go through other channels. Soon, the car drove away and Liu Ruyue's figure began to disappear. At this time, you suddenly asked to stop the car, ignoring Liu Zhang's puzzled expression, got out of the car directly, used the 1,000 Shadows magic art, transformed into a mysterious magic shadow, and rushed towards the place where Liu Ruyue was unconscious. In the second simulation, when you were in the secret room and using the 1,000 Shadows magic skill to disguise yourself, you were briefly stopped. At that time, you ignored it and thought it was an illusion, but afterwards, you realized that something was wrong. You suspect that there is something wrong with Liu Ruyue. Soon, you arrived at your destination and hid in a bush, looking at the drunk Liu Ruyue not far away, silently saying in your heart, "You can't see me." 10 minutes passed, and Liu Ruyue still did not respond. 20 minutes passed, you were feeling a little cold in the bushes, and you were bitten by mosquitoes a few times, but you still didn't move at all. Half an hour passed, you frowned, wondering if you had guessed wrong, but you finally chose to wait patiently. You were confident in your suspicions. Time passed quickly, and soon it was 59 minutes. When there was only 1 minute left before Yi Chen arrived on the stage, Liu Ruyue who was lying in front showed unusual movements. Snap! You hid in the bushes and witnessed with your own eyes that Liu Ruyue, who was supposed to be unconscious, suddenly opened his eyes. The drunken redness on his face disappeared instantly, and his expression became indifferent, as if he had become a different person. Her eyes were cold as she looked around with a slightly frowned brow, with a sense of oppression from a superior, as if she was exploring something. Your heart trembled, and you felt a terrifying sense of oppression. You realized that the other party was using some special ability to explore the surroundings. You couldn't help but clench your fists, and your pupils trembled. Because the sense of oppression from Liu Ruyue at this moment is even more terrifying than that from Liu Zhang, a saint-level expert. Your guess is correct. There is something wrong with Liu Ruyue. You are roaring madly in your heart, and at the same time you are madly repeating to yourself, "You can't see me, you can't see me, you can't see me." Soon, Liu Ruyue still failed to figure out the red talent of "You can't see me," so he withdrew the terrifying sense of oppression and stopped searching. That's weird. Liu Ruyue nodded slightly, a look of surprise appeared on his face, and he muttered to himself, seeming a little confused. After making sure that there was no one around, she ignored Yi Chen who was beginning to appear from behind, took a step, turned into an immortal shadow, flew into the air, and disappeared. Step into the void and fly in the sky. This is a divine method. Liu Ruyue is actually a powerful person in the heavenly man realm. Liu Gan's pupils shrank, and he couldn't help but look at Liu Ruyue, who was lying outside the car. But he quickly suppressed his emotions and didn't dare to show any of them. The Liu Ruyue in front of him was actually a celestial being. An existence on the same level as the Liu family's ancestor. But how is this possible? Even if the other party is the destined heroine, she is only in her 20s at most. How can she be a celestial being? You know, those in the heavenly realm can enter the Supreme Council in the Great Xia Empire and make their own voices heard. Even the Great Xia Emperor would show him courtesy. But even the sixth prince of the Great Xia royal family, who was said to be a rare genius once in 1,000 years, was not so exaggerated and terrifying. A hidden celestial being is actually willing to hide in the magic city and become the daughter of a second-rate family. Could it be that Liu Ruyue is the real mastermind behind this? But this is not right. Why would a celestial being pretend to be like that and let me pick you up and humiliate you like that? This doesn't make sense. Could it be that she has some unknown fetish? But the question is, if she is really the mastermind behind this, why is it so complicated? It must be someone else's doing. Before, when she was in the hotel, she could have killed me with just one move. A celestial being wants to kill me, and almost no one in the entire demon city can stop him. Even if the Liu family wanted to save people, I'm afraid it would be beyond their reach. Liu Gan's brain almost turned into a mess at this moment, and he felt that it was not enough. The situation seemed to have once again exceeded his expectations. He actually picked up a celestial being and boldly did something that was against his superiors. Moreover, it happened more than once or twice. But the other party did not kill him. Instead, you are willing to endure it silently. It's a ghost. Chapter 15, Supreme Mode. Suppress the protagonist of destiny. I thought Yi Chen had exaggerated, but I didn't expect that there was another expert. The corner of Liu Gan's mouth twitched slightly. Before, he thought that the sudden outburst of Yi Chen, the destined protagonist, was exaggerated enough. From the 4th level of supernatural power, he instantly entered the 7th level of sainthood, which was so terrifying. As a result, Liu Ruyue, the destined heroine, actually taught him a lesson and directly became a celestial being of the 8th level. This can no longer be explained by cheating. These two are going to heaven. If he didn't have the villain simulator, he would have been killed by these two. This really means not taking the villain seriously. However, now he has used the villain life simulation to expose the true colors of these two people, so he can make various contingency plans in advance. It seems that the demon city is full of hidden talents and is not as simple as we imagined. From the current situation, Liu Ruyue should not have any intention to kill me. Otherwise, I would have died countless times. Even Liu Zhang would not be able to resist. It seems that there are two groups of people targeting me. One group is the so-called mastermind behind the scenes, and the other group is Liu Ruyue. The Liu family arranged for me to come to the Magic City from the capital, and I don't know whether it was a blessing or a curse. Just out of the tiger's den, into the wolf's den again. Being in the demon city, even with a powerful saint protecting him in front, he could not feel a sense of security at this moment. It was because there was a woman in the heavenly realm lying in front of him. As long as the other party had a thought, he had no power to resist at all. It's a really bad feeling to have no control over life and death. We must quickly gain the power to control our own destiny. You looked at the disappearing Liu Ruyue in shock. No one would have thought that Liu Ruyue would be such a peerless celestial being. At the same time, you were also glad that the red talent, "You can't see me," took effect in time. Otherwise, if Liu Ruyue finds out that you discovered her secret, the consequences will be disastrous. It's not just the mastermind behind the scenes who's targeting you, there's another group of people as well. You already have some guesses in your mind. Liu Ruyue is most likely an old monster in disguise, or the reincarnation of some peerless power. Otherwise, it is impossible for him to be a celestial being at such a young age. Based on this situation, it is only a matter of time before the other party breaks through to the level of a true immortal on Earth. By then, I am afraid that he will be able to reach the pinnacle. In comparison, it seems that a certain mastermind behind the scenes has been outdone. After all, the people sent out at the beginning were only those in the transcendent realm and the saint realm, and no strong men in the heavenly realm have appeared yet. You deeply realize that the water in this world is too deep and you can't grasp it. Yi Chen, who came hurriedly, interrupted your thoughts. He seemed to be looking for something in a hurry, with anxiety on his face. Quote. No. Yi Chen let out a howl of grief and anger, as if he misunderstood that the goddess in his heart had been picked up. Looking at this classic scene, you have an idea in your mind. Now that Liu Ruyue, the immortal, has left, the killer who has practiced the Thousand Shadows magic, is most likely setting up an ambush in a nearby hotel. This is a good opportunity. You plan to attack Yi Chen. Yi Chen is at the 4th level of magical power, and you are also at the 4th level of magical power. The other party has a trump card that can improve one major realm, and you also have the Supreme Emperor Bone, so you are not afraid at all. As for Yi Chen's secret method that is suspected to be able to continuously improve several realms, you don't have to be afraid, because the other party obviously does not have it now. Otherwise, it would not have been possible for him to be crippled by Lu Zhang and have one of his hands twisted off at the beginning of the second simulation. Also, you just want to use this opportunity to hone your combat experience. If you only have skills but no combat experience, you are just a fool. Right now, Yi Chen, the destined protagonist at the beginning of the story, is a good opponent. Even if you can't beat him, you are sure to escape. Being cautious, you did not take action immediately, but used the magical power of shadow simulation to change your own face into a second simulation of the appearance of Zhao Kun, the unlucky young master of the Zhao family in the Magic City who was killed by you. You take out a black cloth and cover your face. It is obvious that you intend to divert the blame. Just when Yi Chen turned around and prepared to look for Liu Ruyue, you decisively chose to launch a sneak attack. Swish. Shadows emerged from the ground and entangled Yi Chen's shadow. Yi Chen turned around and his body froze as if he was restrained. 8 demonic shadows emerged from the shadows, holding shadow knives in their hands, and chopped at his 5 limbs, almost crippling him. This sudden situation instantly frightened Yi Chen to death, especially when he saw 4 knives chopping towards his 5th limb. He almost peed himself. A burst of burning flames suddenly burst out from Yi Chen's body, and he directly stepped into the 5th realm of mountains and rivers from the realm of magical powers. He broke free from the shackles of the shadow and directly blocked the blade that was chopped towards Shou Yi Chen. He allowed other blades to fall on his body, leaving bloody marks on his limbs and bruises all over his body. Obviously, he would rather be stabbed on the body than on the bottom. You are a little surprised. You didn't expect that Yi Chen could react to your sneak attack. Boom. A terrifying flame erupted, engulfing and destroying the 7 demonic shadows, and your true form was also exposed. You despicable B************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** want you dead. Having almost been stabbed in the back and made a eunuch, Yi Chen instantly flew into a rage, not caring about Liu Ruyue's safety anymore, and only wanted to kill the guy in front of him. Faced with the furious Yi Chen, who was one realm higher than you quickly fell into a disadvantage. However, with the ghostly speed of the Thousand Shadows magic art, you chose to avoid his attack. Although you were unable to react in time several times and were hit by the furious Yi Chen, you were able to withstand it with the Dragon Elephant Tyrant body. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. You realize that in this situation, you can remain undefeated, but it is difficult to defeat Yi Chen who has rich combat experience. Just when you were about to try to use the Supreme Emperor Bone, for the first time, you discovered that you couldn't use it. It seemed like something was missing. You were a little surprised. Could it be that your current cultivation level is still too low to be used? Suddenly, you feel a cold and overbearing warm current emerging from your spine and flowing into your brain. In your eyes, Yi Chen's movements began to slow down, as if he was 10 or 100 times busier. His movements were quickly analyzed and absorbed by you. You discover that in this state, you can absorb the enemy's fighting style and purify it, allowing your own combat experience to increase rapidly at a terrifying rate. At this moment, you are like a true god, overlooking the world. Everything that exists will be seen through by you, nothing can escape your sight, and you are the only one who controls it. At this moment, you realize the horror of the Supreme Emperor Bone. He seems to have some kind of thinking that can know what you need. You were silent, but soon felt relieved, and named this special state, Supreme Mode. With the help of the Supreme Mode, you grow rapidly, and become evenly matched with him. You gain the upper hand and almost suffocate Yi Chen. Chapter 16. Destroying his own skills to deceive Liu Zhang. Supreme Emperor Bone actually has such power. Liu Gan's pupils trembled slightly, and he became even more surprised at the Supreme Emperor Bone on his body. You know, during the second villain simulation, Yi Chen was able to escape from Liu Zhang, a powerful saint. His own combat capability was definitely extraordinary. In his expectation, even if the self in the villain simulator was confident, it would definitely not be so easy. But everything was beyond his expectations. The self in the villain simulator, in the Supreme Mode, is like a sponge that absorbs everything and improves itself madly. Yi Chen's combat experience was almost analyzed, imitated, absorbed, purified and optimized. In this state, he was like a prophet who could predict the future. Yi Chen's every move and the following killing moves were all known and avoided and interrupted in advance. This is impossible. The suppressed Yi Chen roared in disbelief, with an expression as if he had seen a ghost, staring at you intently, as if he had seen a monster. Swish. You seized the flaw revealed by Yi Chen at this moment, your eyes were indifferent, and you controlled a giant shadow blade to appear from the ground, instantly cutting off Yi Chen's right arm, and the storage bag on his body fell off. You ignored the current battle results and continued to kill. Yi Chen screamed, and a terrifying scorching flame suddenly erupted from his body, forcing you back. The black cloth on your face was burned by the flames, revealing the face of Zhao Kun, with a look of deliberate surprise. Zhao family. Zhao Kun, I won't let you go. Yi Chen's resentful voice emerged from the flames. It was obvious that he recognized your identity, and also thought that it was you who kidnapped Liu Ruyue. Yi Chen's figure was swallowed by the terrifying flames, turned into ashes, and disappeared. It is obvious that at the critical moment, he escaped directly through some special secret method. You are not surprised by this. After all, you asked Liu Zhang during the second simulation. Yi Chen's escape at that time was exactly the same as it is now. The protagonist has a destiny, so it's not that easy to kill. Suddenly, you felt a familiar force of luck appear out of nowhere and merge into your body. You gained part of the luck of the protagonist Yi Chen and were blessed by destiny, which lasted for a week. Destiny. Blessing. As long as we defeat the destiny protagonist, we can get part of the destiny luck. Liu Gan raised his eyebrows, and gained a new understanding of the so-called destiny and destiny. Normally, the main theme is that the destined protagonist defeats the destined villain, and his own destiny and luck will naturally become stronger and stronger. But when one is defeated miserably, one's own destiny and luck will also leave and fall into the arms of the victor. This mechanism is interesting. You are a little surprised, but you quickly guess the mechanism. You go forward and collect Yi Chen's broken arm. There is also a blood-stained storage bag. In the storage bag are many medicinal herbs and a mysterious token. You put it away, and the Supreme Mode on your body began to recede like the tide. The next moment, you felt a heart-wrenching pain and the exhaustion of your soul emerging from your body. A feeling of hunger emerges from the spine. Is this the side effect of Supreme Mode? Using your body's potential in advance in exchange for a short period of combat power. You realized the side effects of Supreme Emperor Bone and quickly took out bottles of pills from Yi Chen's storage bag and stuffed them into your mouth. The medicinal power of the elixir was absorbed by the Supreme Emperor Bone domineeringly, and the fatigue and severe pain in the body were relieved. You looked around without staying for too long, fearing that Liu Ruyue, who had just left, would come back to investigate, so you rushed back in the direction where Liu Zhang was driving. You returned to the car. Liu Zhang smelled the blood on you and frowned slightly, but he was tactful and did not ask any questions because he felt that there was something different about you. He drove back to the villa. This time, because of your frame-up, Zhao Kun, the eldest son of the Zhao family, was made to take the blame. You did not issue a killing order to Yi Chen in the Magic City, but planned to watch the show from behind the scenes. Yi Chen, whose hand was chopped off, will definitely take revenge on Zhao Kun. At that time, someone will issue a killing order. As long as Zhao Kun dies at the hands of Yi Chen, then the ancestor of the Zhao family will not fight you to the death like in the second simulation. This time, you should plan carefully and watch the show to see clearly who is the enemy and who is the friend in the entire Magic City. After returning to your residence in the Magic City, you suddenly said, "Lu Zhang, can I trust you?" After getting Lu Zhang's affirmative answer, you directly displayed your fourth level of magical power, which shocked Lu Zhang so much that his eyes widened. In the capital of Daxia, everyone knows that Lu Gan, the second son of the Lu family, is a notorious good-for-nothing who is unable to practice cultivation and likes to go to brothels and listen to music. But now, he has shown his cultivation. At the age of 18, he has reached the realm of supernatural powers, which is considered a genius in the Great Xia Empire. Lu Zhang couldn't help but ask about your cultivation. With the result of the second simulation, you clearly knew Lu Zhang's loyalty and did not deliberately conceal it, so you chose to tell him part of the truth. You said that over the years, there has been a mastermind who has been eyeing the Lu family with ill intentions. You have been hiding your skills and pretending to be a playboy in order to find out the truth. You started to lie, saying that the reason you came to the Magic City was because you found out that the mastermind had power here, and you wanted to eradicate it completely. You have been hiding this matter from your family until now when you have a clue. Because of your status as a direct descendant of the Lu family, Lu Zhang believed you after a brief silence and asked about your purpose. You said that you have found some information and evidence about the mastermind behind the scenes. Next, you are very likely to be assassinated or even killed. You asked Lu Zhang not to save you if he was assassinated, but to escape at all costs, run back to the Lu family, and tell the Lu family who killed you. You mentioned the currently confirmed forces behind the scenes, the Jiyu family of Daxia, who are also celestial families, the Zhao family of Modu, Yi Chen, and the in-laws of the Li family. Listening to the names of the forces you mentioned, Lu Zhang's face was filled with pain and astonishment. At the same time, he also understood why you valued the private investigation so much. Among these forces, a certain small-time scoundrel of Yi Chen is fine, but they are also involved with a celestial family and two noble families with sainthood. Once these beings act together, even the Lu family will find it difficult and stressful. Lu Zhang asked if he had guessed wrong, but you insisted on your own judgment and said that you were ready to join the game and catch these coveters for the entire Lu family. Hearing your voice of sacrificing your life for the family, Lu Zhang showed admiration and finally agreed to your request. What a good move. He decisively chose to reveal part of the truth and win over Lu Zhang, a powerful saint. This move is a brilliant one. Transferring his own contradictions to the Lu family as a whole will undoubtedly achieve the best effect for Lu Zhang, who has been loyal to his family since childhood. Seeing that, himself, in the third simulator had begun to lay out, Lu Gan couldn't help but want to applaud. Chapter 17. Make up for the shortcomings and practice the ultimate move. Nowadays, in the Magic City, Lu Zhang can be said to be one of his biggest, life-saving talismans. Some things, of course, cannot be hidden from the other party, and the other party's assistance is definitely required. Therefore, appropriate honesty is also necessary. As for why not contact the Lu family directly and dispatch more high-end combat forces. Lu Gan knew clearly in his heart that this time, himself, who was the villain simulator for the third time, was probably planning to keep a low profile. In this situation, if we contact them rashly and send out more forces, it might attract the attention of the mastermind behind the scenes. The Lu family, a family of heaven and earth, is too eye-catching. Every move you make, someone will be watching you. Especially those who are above the 6th level of transcendence. As long as one of them is dispatched, it will attract the attention of those who are interested. It may even alert the existence of the mastermind behind the scenes. At present, what can be confirmed is that the Jiyu family, which is also a celestial family, has a certain relationship with the mastermind behind the scenes. By then, if he provokes the other party to do whatever it takes and ask the heavenly realm from the Jiyu family to hunt him down, it will be no fun. At present, he only has a life-saving blood escape talisman on his body that can unleash his extraordinary power. It is still uncertain whether I can escape the pursuit of the gods. Now, His biggest goal this time is to clear out all the potential threats in the demon city and find them all out. After all, the self in the villain simulator can do whatever he wants, but in the real world, he only has one life. If I'm not mistaken, this time, I, the simulator, intend to escape and hide behind the scenes. In one go, he disappeared from everyone's sight, and at the same time, with his death, he aroused the wrath of the Liu family and cleaned up the entire demon city. Liu Gan knows himself too well. He is definitely not as selfless as the villain in the simulator. There must be some kind of calculation. And he had roughly guessed the calculation. And then, the content of the villain simulator also verified this point. After convincing Liu Zhang to work for you completely, you became serious and asked him if the Liu family had any assassins with a similar body shape to you in the demon city. You know very well that a noble family like the Liu family has secret information channels and assassins throughout the empire. Liu Zhang did not hesitate and told you the information of the Liu family's assassins in the Magic City. You nodded secretly and asked Liu Zhang to bring the people here secretly. You know very well that the mastermind behind your killing plan will not disappear easily, so you plan to escape. Soon, Liu Zhang brought a young assassin. You used your shadow mimicry ability to change the young assassin into your appearance. You planned to let him imitate your every move in the next few days, making him your stand-in. This time, you plan to create an opportunity to let the stand-in die for you, and you hide behind the scenes, jump out of the chessboard from being a chess piece in the open, and become a chess player in the dark. You informed the young assassin of the possible mission to die, but he agreed firmly, and only expressed the hope that the Liu family could take good care of his sister. You agreed, promising to give his sister a lifetime of wealth and honor, and learned that the young assassin was named Su Meng and his sister was named Su Mei. After making all the preparations, you asked Liu Zhang to ask the Liu family for a large number of training materials in the name of his own practice, including some martial arts, Taoism, and curses, but in fact, these were for you. You are cautious and don't want to reveal the fact that you can practice so quickly. At the same time, you also used bloodline means to send a message to your elder brother Liu Shou. You did not send a request for help like you did in the second simulation, asking your eldest brother to help you vent your anger, take revenge on the Gu family, and cause a big disturbance in the capital of Daxia. After all, you avoided the killing game before it even started, so it cannot be used as an excuse. This time, you came up with a new excuse. Brother, I've been feeling a little uneasy these past few days. I heard that you have a life-replacing blood escape talisman, can you lend it to me for a bit? I'll return it to you when I get back. You are afraid of death and plan to take the life-saving blood escape talisman from your elder brother and use it as a second life-saving talisman. After arranging everything, you went to the secret room, took out the resources from Yi Chen's storage bag, and began practicing. Overnight, your cultivation speed has increased rapidly, from the initial stage of the supernatural power realm to the middle stage of the supernatural power realm, and your own shadow and dragon elephant tyrant body have become even more powerful. The next morning, your practice was interrupted by Liu Zhang outside the secret room, and you received good news. The life-replacing blood escape talisman you requested, the training resources that Liu Zhang requested, and the martial arts and Taoist techniques for fighting have arrived. Master Liu, the eldest master, is very concerned about your matter. He almost sent someone to deliver the things overnight, and also brought the supplies I asked for. Listening to Liu Zhang's words, you held a piece of the life-replacing blood escape talisman, which was still warm, and suddenly felt a warm feeling in your heart. When it comes to matters concerning myself, my eldest brother will always make arrangements for it as soon as possible. Now, you have 2 life-substitute blood escape talismans on you. Even if you are ambushed by a celestial-level ancestor, you will be sure to escape. This time, your anxious heart can at least be much more at ease. You took a new storage bag from Liu Zhang, and with a scan of your mental power, you immediately saw a huge amount of cultivation resources and several jade slips engraved with martial arts and Taoist techniques. You estimate that these cultivation resources, once digested, will be able to improve your cultivation significantly, but your attention is now on those jade slips. Having a certain realm of cultivation but no means of self-defense will ultimately be in vain. Now, you don't have a systematic fighting method and proper killing moves, so you are not a real practitioner at all. You are prepared to make up for your shortcomings. Chapter 18, The Great Dragon Fist. First-class Talisman Master. The Liu family sent 3 jade slips, one is the specialized killing martial arts, Kang Mang Ba Long Quan, one is the special skill jade slip, Talisman True Book, and the other is a sinister curse method, Nail Soul method. These 3 jade slips were all requested by Liu Zhang, from the Liu family in his personal capacity. They are the most suitable for you. Kang Mang Ba Long Fist is an extremely domineering martial art at the saint level, but its power can even be compared with heavenly martial arts, and it has the power to split mountains and open seas. This domineering martial art is extremely demanding and requires a strong body. If you are not careful, you will be attacked back. However, it is just right to cooperate with the terrifying power of your ancient dragon elephant dominant body. Before, you never had a killer move in the system. Kang Mang Ba Long Fist is just right. The True Book of Talismans is an introductory book on talismans, and it contains tens of thousands of talismans. Since you discovered the miraculous effect of the Supreme Emperor Bone on cultivation last time, you realized that you could take up a secondary profession. Among them, the all-purpose profession of Talisman Master is undoubtedly what you have set your sights on. As for the final cursed secret method of soul nailing, it was prepared by you for the destined protagonist Yi Chen. You should know that Yi Chen still has one arm in your hand. You can use the secret curse method to lock its position. That's very thoughtful. While strengthening our strength, we also added a deputy position of a talisman master with unlimited potential. You know, the status and position of a high-level talisman master is also highly respected in the upper echelons of Daxia. Liu Gan looked at himself in the villain simulator and couldn't help but feel emotional. The status and potential of a talisman master are absolutely unimaginable. A high-level talisman master would not dare to be provoked easily as long as he was given time to prepare. God knows how many high-level talismans the other party could take out to bombard him. Moreover, some high-level talismans have various magical effects. For example, the Life Substitute Blood Escape Talisman, in his hand, a heavenly level talisman specially used to save lives, was made by a high-level talisman master. If one wants to kill a high-level talisman master who is well prepared, at least several ancestors in the heavenly realm will be needed to take action. One day, when he can reach the level of a high-level talisman master and prepare enough high-level talismans, he will be able to challenge the Jiyu family, a family of celestial beings, single-handedly. Next, it depends on whether the ability of Supreme Emperor Bone can succeed. Although the Supreme Emperor Bone had previously demonstrated its power in cultivation. But when it comes to practicing martial arts and Taoism, I don't know whether it has the same magical effect. Everything still needs to be tried. After obtaining the 3 jade slips, you did not waste time and entered the secret room again to start practicing. You begin to take a large amount of elixirs to stimulate the enlightenment state of the Supreme Emperor Bone, and you yourself fall into a confused enlightenment state. You begin to practice the domineering martial art, Kang Mang Ba Long Quan. Those complicated ancient characters turn into tadpoles and pour into your mind, being quickly understood and digested. On the first day, you consumed hundreds of bottles of cultivation pills, successfully comprehended the Kang Mang Tyrant Dragon Fist, and quickly achieved minor success. The next day, all the medicinal resources in Yi Chen's storage bag were devoured by you, and the Kang Mang Tyrant Dragon Fist successfully entered the state of perfection. A punch was thrown out, like the roar of a vast dragon, and it could shatter mountains and rivers with one punch. At this moment, you believe that with one punch you can send out, even the mountains and rivers of the fifth realm would not dare to resist. Once hit, you will surely die. In the past, if Yi Chen was hit by your punch, he could start eating. On the third day, you discovered that after the Kang Mang Tyrant Dragon Fist reached its peak, it hit a bottleneck. It would take a long time to reach the peak, so you decided to specialize in the Talisman True Book, and began to specialize in the study of the Talisman Master. Among tens of thousands of basic talismans, you chose the 2 most violent attributes, Thunder Talisman and Fire Talisman. As long as you can master these two most violent attributes, the rest of the attributes will become simple. On the fourth day, after experiencing tens of thousands of failed talisman attempts, the talisman materials in your hands began to become scarce, and your emotions began to fluctuate. You doubted that you did not have the talent to become a talisman master. Even with the Supreme Emperor Bone, it would not work. But the unwillingness to admit defeat in his heart still made him unwilling to give up. On the fifth day, after nearly 100,000 failures, you suddenly had an idea and drew a first-level, lightning talisman, successfully becoming a first-level talisman master. Although the thunder talisman is only a first-level talisman and has little effect on you, you are still overjoyed because you succeeded. It actually works. Liu Gan couldn't hide his excitement as he looked at the contents of the villain simulator, and couldn't help but clench his fists. The continuous success in the villain simulator made him clearly realize that as long as he was given enough time, he could become stronger at the fastest speed. As long as I have enough villain points to simulate, I can learn from the sword god of Shilapu and rush out of the novice village with invincibility, sweeping away everything. After 5 consecutive days of high-intensity practice in the state of enlightenment, you fell into a deep state of fatigue. Even the speed of practice began to decline. You realized that more haste makes waste, so you stopped practicing for the time being. You opened the door of the secret room and asked Su Meng, who was guarding outside, about what had happened in the past few days. Mr. Liu, the demon city has been calm these past few days, nothing has changed. Su Meng answered truthfully. Unlike the second simulation, since you did not take Liu Ruyue away, you were able to avoid the dead end of the mastermind. Changes occurred, and there was no bloody fight between the Liu and Jiyu families of Daxia, nor the killing of Zhao Kun. Instead, everything seemed calm. According to the results of the second simulation, tonight you will be surrounded and attacked by the ancestor of the Zhao family, another powerful saint, and many men in black. But now, Zhao Kun is not dead, the Zhao family has not been destroyed, and the ancestor of the Zhao family will not risk genocide to kill you. A single saint-level warrior cannot stop Liu Zhang at all. Even if a group of men in black are added, I am afraid they are not sure they can kill you. You guessed that the mastermind behind the scenes lacked high-end combat power and was unsure of your situation, so he was very likely to temporarily suspend his plans against you, and at the same time was very likely to be brewing a more vicious killing move. You looked at Su Meng, a young assassin who looked exactly like you. His demeanor and temperament were almost exactly like yours, as if they were the same person. It was obvious that Liu Zhang's special training these days was very effective. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. By the way, Mr. Liu, a mysterious secret realm seems to have appeared in the sea area of the Magic City these days, attracting many people to visit. Su Meng seemed to have thought of something and suddenly spoke. You frowned, as if you were thinking of the second simulation when Liu Ruyue seemed to have told you about this matter, but at that time you were afraid that it was a trap set by the mastermind behind the scenes, so you ignored it. Liu Zhang enters from outside and interrupts your thoughts. Mr. Liu, the young master of the Li family, Li Yang, is here. He said he wants to see you for something. Chapter 19, Magic City Manor. Meet school beauty Liu again. Li Yang. Liu Gan's eyes moved, his face slightly tense, he seemed a little surprised, yet somewhat expected. The Li family of Modu is the in-law of the Liu family of Daxia. 20 years ago, Li Jie, the head of the Li family, married his cousin from a different branch of the family. Later, they had a son, Li Yang. In terms of seniority alone, although Liu Gan is young, he has a higher seniority and a better background. Li Yang, who is 2 years older than him, calls him uncle. However, he never really cared about seniority and got along well with Li Yang. Since arriving in Shanghai, perhaps considering that young people have more common topics, Li Yang has always been the one to liaise with him and take care of all his needs. Things like listening to music in brothels are of course indispensable. Normally, the two parties are already friends and also have a layer of relatives involved, so they can be said to be extremely close. But all this is based on the premise that there is no problem with the Li family. When the villain simulator was surrounded and killed for the second time, Liu Gan seriously suspected that there was something wrong with the Li family. Otherwise, how did the killers know where he lived and find him so accurately? And at that time, there was such a huge commotion, but no one from the Li family came to support. This is a big problem. Liu Gan suspected that Zhao Kun and the Zhao family, whom he had killed, might just be scapegoats. The Li family. This Liu family-in-law. He is the mastermind behind the scenes. At this time, Li Yang, the young master of the Li family, came to see you, and you immediately noticed something was wrong. Obviously, in your heart, you have already had some doubts about the Li family. In addition, Li Yang's coincidental appearance now makes you more certain of what you think in your heart: there is something wrong with the Li family. Li Yang's visit is most likely the mastermind behind the scenes, and he is ready to make further moves. You hesitated for a moment, and then prepared to take advantage of the opponent's strategy to see what his intention was. You are so cautious that you let Su Meng, a substitute, pretend to be you, and you use simulacrum to change into Lu Zong's appearance, while the real Lu Zong hides in the dark. Soon, Li Yang, who looked like a playboy, came in with a cynical smile on his face. Mr. Liu, Senior Liu. Li Yang greeted you one after another, and was extremely respectful to you, who was disguised as Liu Zhang, the protector, and did not dare to be negligent in the slightest. You disguised yourself as Liu Zhang, and said nothing, just nodded, maintaining your aloof personality, watching Su Meng chatting with you with his face against yours. After several days of training, Su Meng's disguise is perfect. Except for some changes in details, the rest is almost exactly the same as you. Unless those who are very familiar with you, they will not be able to find out the difference. Li Yang obviously did not realize that Liu Gan in front of him was a fake. Soon, he began to reveal his purpose, saying that a Magic City University party was held in Magic City Manor, and many students from Magic City University wanted to meet you, a busy man, and at the same time, there was a surprise for you. As he spoke, Li Yang blinked meaningfully. Su Meng, who is disguised as you, was stunned, not knowing what decision to make. Promise him. You use the secret spiritual energy to transmit the message and command Su Meng, the substitute, to agree, and prepare to see what evil intentions this kid Li Yang has. This is just right. We can use this to verify whether the Li family is a pawn placed in the Magic City by the mastermind behind the scenes. Soon, you were in charge of driving, playing the role of both driver and bodyguard. Since you had been to the Magic City Manor many times before, you were familiar with the location and arrived there quickly. A distinguished guest has arrived, and the boss of Modu Manor hastened to greet him. After you and your group entered a supreme VIP room deep in the manor, you found several figures in the room. Among them, there are two people you are most familiar with, one is Zhao Kun, and the other is Liu Ruyue. In the moment you saw Liu Ruyue, you had a moment of muscle tightness, but soon regained your composure and forced yourself to calm down. After all, you are bearing Liu Zong's face at the moment. Before, when you used your shadow mimicking ability to change your face, even Liu Zhang, a powerful saint, couldn't tell the real from the fake. I just don't know if you can deceive Liu Ruyue, who is suspected to be a celestial being. At this moment, you feel a little regretful. Now, in the entire Magic City, the person you least want to see is probably Liu Ruyue. At the same time, you also realized why Liu Ruyue appeared here, because she is the campus beauty of Magic City University and is in the same class as you. Most of those present were students from Magic City University. In addition to Liu Ruyue, there were also several pretty female classmates. It seems that today is a killing game specifically targeting me. You looked at Zhao Kun, who was being attentive to Liu Ruyue, and heard all the voices, and you understood. The reason why the unlucky Zhao Kun appeared here was most likely because the Li family wanted to use him and the Zhao family behind him as scapegoats and exclude themselves. It seems that you did wrongly accuse the Zhao family during the second villain simulation. Seeing Su Meng, who was pretending to be you, appear on the stage, everyone present stood up subconsciously. These people were all children of noble families with extraordinary backgrounds, but in front of you, they were just younger brothers. Mr. Liu, I spent a lot of effort today, but to no avail. In the end, I was able to ask School Beauty Liu out with your help. Li Yang had a flattering smile on his face. It is obvious that he knows everything about your pursuit of Liu Ruyue at Magic City University before, and he is planning to use a beauty trap to repeat the same old trick. At this moment, you have already guessed what might happen next. It is most likely that Liu Ruyue will get drunk, and then ask you to take her to the hotel to rest. At this moment, you frowned slightly, feeling as if history is repeating itself. No matter how you try to avoid it, you can't avoid it. Question mark. However, fortunately, you have changed your identity at this moment. Question mark. Everyone's eyes are focused on the stand-in, Su Meng, with a flattering look on his face, and they ignore you. Even Liu Ruyue's eyes were always focused on Su Meng, but you, with your keen observation, seemed to notice her frown for a moment, as if she was a little confused. Your heart tightened, fearing that Liu Ruyue would discover the substitute. You did not continue to use spiritual energy to transmit messages to command the stand-in, but let it play freely to reduce the possibility of exposure. Soon, the stand-in took his seat and started exchanging cups with all the noble scions present, vividly displaying the image of a capital city dandy who was into both wine and women. And you just stood there and watched coldly. Chapter 20. A chaotic fight breaks out and the killer appears. Perhaps due to the Liu family's background, the stand-in almost became the center of the scene, being complimented by countless people, and several good-looking female classmates showed close behavior. Even Liu Ruyue frequently looked at the stand-in, frowning slightly, and it was unknown what he was thinking. Seeing that even the school beauty Liu looked so moved, all the men present were undoubtedly envious and jealous. As a suitor of the school beauty Liu, Zhao Kun's face was distorted with anger, but he did not dare to lose his temper for fear of bringing disaster to the family. Seeing the atmosphere gradually heated up, Li Yong also stood up, came to Yu who was out of place, and whispered, "Senior Liu, do you need me to arrange some fun for you? You know, Li Yang's move is most likely to get you away so that he can easily take action against the stand-in, disguised as you." You understood what was going on in your mind and did not refuse. Instead, you nodded heavily and agreed immediately. The current situation is already within your expectations. At the same time, you don't want to stay here all the time and get too close to Liu Ruyue, an unstable factor. It's just that, I don't know why, you always feel that the Liu Ruyue in front of you seems a little weird, as if there are some changes from the Liu Ruyue you met in the previous 2 simulations. You said something to the stand-in, and stood up and left. Under the arrangement of the waiter, you came to another private room. At the same time, more than a dozen young and beautiful women with different styles followed you in. Obviously, Li Yong is planning to use the beauty trap to delay you for a short period of time. Faced with more than a dozen charming young ladies, you did not waver. You attacked them directly and knocked them out. Then, you took out the communication talisman, and contacted Liu Zhang who was far away outside the Magic City Manor. Communication talisman is a first-level consumable talisman. It can be used to make a call within 10 miles and is extremely secretive. When you became a first-level talisman master yesterday, you made quite a few of them. This time, when you took the initiative to join the game, you did not let Liu Zhang follow you closely, but instead asked him to follow behind you, keeping a distance, as a trump card. Mr. Liu, a number of sneaky black-clad figures have appeared outside the Magic City Manor. Most of them are at the 3rd level of Tongshuan and the 4th level of Shentong. The leader is probably a saint-level person. The news from Liu Zhang shocked you, and you were completely certain that the Li family was the pawn of the mastermind behind the scenes. You and your stand-in just arrived at the Magic City Manor, and the next second, a killer arrived. Anyone who is not a fool can guess the truth behind it. In the second simulation, the Saint Realm expert who had been masked the entire time was most likely the old man from the Li family. Now that the killing plan has been set, you also feel the urgency and immediately order Liu Zhang who is far away to come over, and the two of you exchange identities. In the next killing game, the Liu Zhang you disguised as a powerful person who has entered the Saint Realm is the biggest variable. It is very likely that you will be subjected to the greatest concentrated fire, and the killer who has entered the Saint Realm will also take action. Nowadays, not only is the stand-in danger, your situation is also extremely dangerous. However, fortunately, Liu Zhang has been following not far behind you. In just a few dozen breaths, he appeared in front of you. You secretly breathed a sigh of relief. You explained some things to Lu Zhang, then used your magical power of shadow mimicry to transform yourself into the appearance of a waiter and walked out. At this moment, you begin to feel more satisfied with the perverted magical power of shadow. You hid in a wine cellar, took out the soul nailing technique, and began to practice it as quickly as possible. You concluded that those killers would not act so quickly. You start to read the jade slips and find that the soul nailing method is not complicated and is even very simple. As long as you get the target's things, you can track them and even curse them. However, because it is extremely insidious, it is very likely to be backfired, and it may also affect your luck. An hour later, you have successfully entered the door and have initially mastered the use of the soul nailing method. You took out Yi Chen's severed arm from the storage ring, and used the soul nailing method to plunder his blood and energy, but you did not curse him, but tracked and located him instead. After all, cursing a protagonist who is blessed with destiny is very likely to backfire. Blood began to flow from the broken arm in his hand, and a small blood nail condensed and slowly pointed forward. Sure enough, Yi Chen is here too. You know clearly in your heart that as long as there is a big scene, Yi Chen, the destined protagonist, will definitely not be absent. Next, this Magic City manor will inevitably fall into a huge chaos. Boom. A terrifying explosion occurred not far away. You quickly retracted your broken arm and looked outside the warehouse. You immediately saw Lu Zhang fighting fiercely with a masked saint. Obviously, the killing game has begun. But in the second simulation, the black-clothed warrior had to work together with the ancestor of the Zhao family to hold back Lu Zhang. Now, he was alone and quickly fell into a disadvantage. The two powerful saints fought each other, and a terrifying spiritual energy fluctuation erupted, almost flattening the Demon City manor, and the whole scene fell into chaos. In the chaos, a group of assassins in black rushed towards the room where the stand-in was ready to kill him. In midair, Lu Zhang, who was fighting the black-clothed warriors alone, snorted coldly and burst out with a terrifying pressure. He was able to free up one hand and slap out with one palm, instantly killing most of the black-clothed men. If you dare to attack my young master Lu, no matter who is behind you, you will all die. Lu Zhang's domineering voice resounded throughout the entire manor. Even though there were still some black-clad assassins who escaped, they were quickly stopped by the other powerful guards of the Magic City manor. The situation seems to be starting to turn one-sided. We have been planning for so long, it is impossible for this to end so easily. There must be a backup plan. Let me see what other tricks you have. Lu Gan looked at the fierce battle in the villain simulator with deep concentration. He didn't believe that the other party had no other killer moves. Otherwise, once Lu Zhang defeated the strong man in black, it would be a one-sided massacre. You are on the battlefield and start silently repeating, "You can't see me," making everyone ignore you and keep their eyes on the battle situation. Suddenly, something strange happened. A young figure with a broken arm suddenly appeared in the room, holding a scarlet blade in his hand, and slashed at one of them with murderous intent. Yi Chen, someone exclaimed. Thought Yi Chen was going to assassinate Lu Gan. But the next moment, everyone was stunned, seeing that Yi Chen's target was Zhao Kun. Just when everyone's attention was drawn to it, something strange happened again. Puff! A dark hand suddenly appeared from behind Lu Gan, and pierced through his chest. And the owner of that dark hand is Liu Ruyue. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audio Wave to stay updated with our latest stories. And never miss out on a great listen.